Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a special meeting, January the 14th, 2026, 10 a.m. We're going to skip the audience part of it as far as cell phones and things. We're going to go right to the opening. Byron, would you lead us in a prayer, sir?
Absolutely. Father God in heaven, Lord, we thank you for all the many blessings you've bestowed upon us. Lord, I just ask for your blessing, your hand. Give us cool heads, kind hearts, wisdom in these proceedings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Chief, you lead us in the pledge, sir?
That work. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, let's get to it. When I can get a roll call, ma'am?
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Blevins?
Yes.
Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
We're going to go right into old business. This is discussion on the contract between Franklin Township and the City of Columbus Fire. It has to do with the them having construction at at their house 12 on Sullivan Avenue. Bob and I've been working with them. We well, let me step back. This goes all the way back to last year when Mr. Leeser was here. We all sat in an executive session. It was something that we were interested in. This has come to fruition. This contract has went to our legal team, and it's to the point where a decision has to be made. We still have the ability to accept or reject. Bob can speak to that. Brenda, I know you wasn't here, and you are here now. And so this is something that will be happening in this year's business. And so would you like for Bob to address what's going on and everything?
I read the agreement.
Did they send that to us? Because I haven't seen
Yeah, it
that.
was
You got it.
in that email.
Okay. When
And you have a copy of it here too.
Okay.
It was on your agenda, maybe right under here.
You know, I have a couple of questions, concerns.
For sure.
One thing is, you know, I understand the mutual aid and everything like that. But is it gonna confuse the residents down here in the Triangle? Because they're gonna be like, oh wow, we got a fire department now. And then, you know, if we decide to do something later, you know, as far as a levy or something, I'm like, well, why do we need to do that? Because we already have the fire station open. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's one of my biggest concerns about that, is confusing people. But on the other hand, you know, is Columbus going to respond to residents down here as if they were their fire department? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. So when the three of us, or the four of us sat down last year, and I kind of presented this problem because Columbus, they had a need at one time. It's hard to navigate with their structure because they're so big, but do they really need to move out of Station 12 during? And you hear different stories. So the assistant chief, who I speak directly to, is in charge of all operations in the city, and he's still pursuing this agreement as if they need it. So the pros and cons are basically what you're weighing. Is it going to confuse the residents? Absolutely, it's confusing. It's only a temporary thing, so is it really necessary for us to open this station? And the longer it goes, the more it's going to cost to reopen this and get it back up and running. They would use it as just a satellite firehouse to respond just like they do now. So it's still closest truck, they would respond to our citizens just like we would if we were here.
Okay.
Same as they would respond to Columbus Run, it's just whatever run is closest, they send the most appropriate truck. So, those are part of it. The unions, from my understanding, I know our union's against it. They don't want other departments in our firehouse. From my understanding, their union is also against it. So will it actually come to fruition once this agreement's signed? I don't know that. Depends on who wants to fight and how far they want to take it, kind of thing. The biggest pro that we decided last year to pursue this and why we did it is my job is to provide a service, and our collective job is to provide safety for our residents, and this puts safety equipment right here to help these people out, even if it's only for 3 months, 1 month, 6 weeks. Hey, it's 6 weeks, they have emergency equipment right here within a minute of their house versus waiting however long. So those are what we weighed before we decided to pursue it, at least for now, and so now we have the agreement. It's been through Julie, it's been through their lawyers, and they have signed it, so that's where we're at.
So do we know a date?
We do not.
So one of the biggest issues that I have, I'm a component of, as a trustee, I have to put aside, is it Columbus? It's just like with the union, and I've spoke to the members about this, it's like, look, the people that are residents, I'm a board member, and I have asked to be in this seat, and what their expectations of me is, we need fire safety, whether it be, they don't care who it is, they don't care if it's Santa Claus, as long as it's someone that knows the job, certified, and life-saving measures. The problem with that, only problem that I have is the misconception of it being open. How is it going to affect our levies? We failed by 33 votes, and I'm going to call it somewhat of a perfect world, meaning that there wasn't Columbus in here. It's going to make it a little bit harder. I know when I went around this past November talking to people, one of the biggest misconceptions, and I use my hands as an illustration, this is our levies, this is the new levy. They didn't know that this one totally went away, and this would be your new levy. They thought they were combined. And my biggest thing I took out of that is when I explained it to them, they were like, oh, well, I would have voted for that. Yeah, it's a little bit more, but it's not a whole lot more. So what I took away from that is educating the people that I intend to want to do and go back around. I know I'm going to have a bigger understanding, well, why can't we just keep Columbus in there? It costs us nothing. So I just was curious if it's going to be, if we was to put a levy on, and we did it in March, I think it's, I don't know exact date for March. I didn't know if they're going to want to start doing this in April, or they're going to do it now through April, how it's going to affect us. But we have no timeline.
I think in this agreement, they have to be out by August 1st.
Right, but it didn't have a start
But it
date.
did not have a start.
Right,
And
I
don't
saw
think
that.
Yeah, I don't think.
It's unusual that you have an exit date. And if they started now, they would be done by April, so they're far, 5 months away from August, so that's all I have, sir.
So the only trustee or the person sitting at this table who lives in the triangle, I can address it, that it is a concern to everyone around here. So I ask you constantly about the times, if you can get me reports on how much time,
Oh, I did
the
get
difference.
one.
It's okay, we'll do it another time.
Yeah, I'll send
And so it is important to the people here, and I think it's very easily explained that Columbus is in here for a temporary time it's going to affect our service if we don't have them here. So when we say we're not gonna have them here, we're also not going to let them bunk in with you too, because it's all one agreement.
Sure.
So where they're gonna close that firehouse down, so then that's gonna affect everyone getting fire protection over the fact that we're worried about a levy and we're worried about perception. So, this was really only on here for discussion. It's the pleasure of the board. I do have a resolution prepared that could be read. Would you guys, because you did just get the contracts today, do anybody have a feeling towards one way or the other? If you want to do it, you want me to call it to see if we get a second? How do you want to do it, sir?
Well, I would say don't call it in if you think that you're not gonna get a second, because once it dies as a second, it makes it a little bit tougher to put it back on at another time, with being the same identical contract. The thing that I think that would be a better presumption to the public is if we did it in a public meeting, but I am ready to vote on it, but I'm just trying to make sure that since we're worried about perceptions and stuff, would it behoove of us not to do it in a public meeting,
Well-
meaning our regular meeting? Would that be too late? Are we hurting anything if we did that, or is this something that needs to be done now?
So when I received this back from Columbus, and I had talked to Mike yesterday morning about it, and just made him aware that it came back and how do we want to pursue the future, I sent it back to Columbus with just a message, said, hey, I received this. The board doesn't have a public meeting until next Thursday, so at the latest, we'll have a decision by then, but they could act on it at any time, like usual, so.
Are you good with tabling it, ma'am, until, for it to come up in the public meeting until next Thursday?
I mean, I'm ready too. I mean, it,
I'm ready to as myself, but just think about if the next business meeting, you hear that this already passed in a special meeting and there was no one here, it's a perception that can get around, well, they didn't want the public to know because it's Columbus that's gonna run in here. I may be totally wrong on that.
And I'm happy to speak to it. If you want me to bring it up again at the next public meeting, I can speak to the fact that we all made this, well, you all made this decision.
Even though it is televised, I just don't know. I'll do whatever you guys want to do. If you want him to call the roll or call the
I'm not
the
sure that
resolution.
anybody can't call it, correct?
Right.
So if you want to call it. and
I'm
you
not
want-
saying I'm not calling it, I'm
You
just
want-
saying,
Oh.
I apologize, sir.
No, it's fine.
I'm just saying, if you feel that we should do it now, and you feel now, then we would just do it now, I'm still gonna vote now. But my
Well-
only concern is it gonna make any difference between now and our next public meeting? Hearing that it's not gonna make a difference, I think the presumption, to me personally, I think if we did it in a public meeting, it would look better what we're doing. But that's,
and it would give the residents time to come after watching this to be able to come and ask
We're in
questions.
agreement, so we're going to just table it.
okay, and that was just my concern, but like I said, if the two of you wish to call it, I mean, I'll
I
vote
just
on
had
it.
it prepared, sir, because I didn't want to not be prepared.
I understand, you did a great job, I mean, it's just,
So,
if
mean, I
it's
just-
something that we had to do now, absolutely.
I think as a resident, I would kind of be upset if I wasn't able to come and ask questions.
Sure,
So,
I
yeah,
will put that on the agenda for the 22nd.
Okay, and I think that some of the outlets out there, the different Facebook, and that we put that on Facebook as a topic to see if it's going to bring more people in to want to have dialogue with it and say, well, what's this going to do for X, Y, and Z? Then it shows that what we're trying to do for the community is good and not something in secret. But that's my opinion.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to topic number 2, if that's good.
Sure.
Do I have to,
You don't.
Okay.
You can just say that we're tabling it. If you wanted to,
Perfect.
if you wanted to make a motion that we're tabling it for the next meeting, that's kosher as well.
okay, well, I'm not going to do that. If it's good the other way, I'm going to do, we're just going to table it till the next meeting.
Okay.
So, update, number 2 is an update on Jim Stevens tracking non-road hours. I spoke with Julie on this. What we're doing is exactly what we should be doing. She had no problem with it, and our policy that we have in place is exactly what we spoke about at the last meeting, and we're already doing that. And so I went ahead and, with the instruction from the board at the last meeting, and had Jim Stevens go ahead and start to install the door to secure his building. So this is just basically an update. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. There are none?
Well, I mean, is that the, wall
Yep.
when you first go in and
Yep.
to your right where they're
To
putting the door?
To
and-
secure the building
Okay.
and partition them all.
And
Okay.
would be in compliance with him doing the work
100
himself?
That's what she
Okay.
said, 100%, just track it. And that's what he's done, he's been doing it. This has been this way, ma'am, how long have we been tracking road hours this way?
2 years now.
Okay, so it's being taken care of, and she was sent everything, and I had another discussion with her on it yesterday. So number 3 is a discussion of a meeting with the BJG Law Office, and that would be the law firm that we're using now. There was a talk that we were going to get together with them and have them come in. So I've been a trustee for 2 years, and I've never met Pete Griggs. He could walk through that door today and I wouldn't know who he was. And Brenda's new, she doesn't know him, and she knows Julie only because of being here as a resident and stuff, and her being a new trustee. I'm sure between the time she's been in office, I know for a fact that she's had conversations with her, but I just think that we should meet these people so we know who we're doing business with. And so when I was in communications with Julie, I put out a potential meeting on 1/22 of 26 at 11 a.m. That would be before our next business meeting, just to see if they were available. And she got back and said that only Pete was available that day, and did we just want him to come, or they would throw out some potential dates that both of them could come. So I like to bring stuff back to the board. So what's the pleasure of the board? Would you like to ask the law firm to throw out some dates that both of them are able to come over, or do you want Pete to come on the 11th? I'm sorry, the 22nd, before our business meeting. Any discussion?
Sir, I think it would be advantageous to us if we did it, whether it be 1 or 2, whichever is the pleasure of the board, but it would make sense that we would do it prior to our meeting on the 20th, I believe, right?
22nd.
22nd.
So, Brenda, would you like for both of them to be here, or?
I actually would prefer for both of them to be here, so they know, they know and we know, kinda, we're getting to know each other.
Sure. I also would like for both of them to be here, so if it's the pleasure of the board, I'm happy to reach back to them. I would really like to get it done sooner than later. I have a feeling that we're probably gonna have to come together, but,
So I have a question about that.
Okay.
So with next Thursday's meeting on the 22nd being our last daytime meeting, noon meeting, are they gonna be available to come just before the evening meeting on the 5th? Or are we gonna have a special meeting?
I guess that's a good question. So if they want to do the meeting, I would assume they'll come. Like I said, she told me yesterday they were willing to throw out some dates where both of them can come. They can't make that date that I threw out. I was just trying to get things moving, and that was my thoughts of, seems like the board likes the idea of doing it before a regular meeting, but they're not available.
Okay,
So
so I'll scratch that off.
since we both,
I think being that the current board usually doesn't have too much of an issue getting together throughout the day for a special meeting, I'm open to dates that, either way. I can see where, for Brenda's sake, or Miss Fuller's sake, seeing both of them at the same time, and maybe hearing what both of them have to say at the same time, would be conducive of answering a lot of questions at the same time. So I'm good either way. If me personally, sir, if you opened up communications of what dates are good, and then we just make I mean, it's probably gonna take us an hour, correct?
Yeah, that's what I had it, that's what I had it down for, an hour or less, since we were doing it at 11 and we were gonna do it before
Sure.
meeting. We're gonna open up that door
Sure.
generally by 10 till at the latest.
And, my schedule, I can accommodate pretty much, throughout the day.
Is it the pleasure, I didn't mean to cut you off, go ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
I can pretty much make myself available just by looking at some of the dates and stuff.
So how about, if it's the pleasure of the board, I'll ask her to give me 3 dates if they can, that works for them, and I'll bring them back. If I get them before the next meeting, I'll send them out as soon as I get them, I'll send them out to you guys, and by the next meeting, we'll be able to, if we do 3 like we did this past meeting, we'll be able to schedule something and get it taken care of. Are you good, you guys good with that?
I'm good
Yes.
with that.
Okay. Number 4 is an update on the memorial plaque in the Franklin Township Fire Department, and it goes under proper public purpose. So I did check with Julie on this, and she is of the belief that there potentially is a possibility and that this could be a proper public purpose, and she is willing to draft it. So I had a meeting yesterday morning with Bob and talked to him about it, and I also went over there last Friday because I wanted to see the plaque for myself. And when I look at that plaque and you walk through that door, it's 100% in the public purview. You walk through that front door of that firehouse, and that's what you walk into. You walk into that plaque, it's there for the public. This was established in 1955, and I understand there's 2 issues here. The way it was presented and how the money was spent is one issue, and if it was a proper purpose. And so I counted up on here, and this is a nice piece of slab of granite, it looks to be to me. And people get the perception in their head when you say you're gonna add a name to a plaque that you're going up there and you're screwing on a nameplate, and they're wondering, how could that cost $750? This has all been lasered on this piece of granite. And I think, you can correct me, I tried to count on here. Did you put 13 to 14 names on here? Because I saw there was a name down here at the bottom that seemed like it was added, because you can tell by the font of the cut and everything. And so I just wanted to bring it back because it came up at the last meeting, and see what the pleasure of the board, because came to be a question of if it could be or if it is a proper public purpose. And so Julie says yes. So what would be the pleasure of the board? Sir, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Okay, so I think one of the biggest things I would like, we first started talking about this at a public meeting. Any decisions that are made today, I think is in poor light to do it today without it being a regular scheduled meeting. I know it is televised. I never doubted the public use. Who owns the plaque? The township? Okay. And I've got to say, I'd not want to be the person to set the machine up and go, okay, here we go. One mistake and the whole plaque is ruined, that all those other names. My only concern was the procedure in which it was done. The only other thing, I don't know, I didn't check with Mark Long. I hate every time we have to run. I trust what Julie says, but I do know that I don't want to see any of our people get FFRs because of the way that money was spent. And then we did it backwards. We didn't have a purchase order first. It wasn't brought to the board first for a decision. It is a piece of property of the township. I don't really want myself to continue to go into it because I'd rather do this at a public meeting since it started off in a public meeting.
Brenda? I'm not really asking for, I guess, let me show, I'm bringing this back for, I have nothing prepared. This is informational purposes. At the last meeting, and maybe everybody does business different than me, but there was a question came up, is this a proper public purpose? And I got you the answer, okay? I'm not here today to ask you to do anything on it. I'm trying to now set us up for, at the next public meeting, we'll have something prepared and we can do that. This was just meant to bring together, and just to address another thing. There's a new regime at the table here, and I have no problem doing business. When we come together to do business, whether it's a public meeting, a regular business meeting or not, I want to get business taken care of. This thing about you can't do business when it's not a public meeting, for me, from moving forward, there will be many times we come together for a meeting, we're going to conduct business and try to get things done. My recollection, and I'm just saying, I think John had a problem with the plaque the other day. He spoke on it and everything, and so I took the time out of my day to go look at it. All you have to do is walk through that door and see it's like I stated earlier. So that's what I have to say. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
But you go ahead and, so I think you know that I'm not asking for any movement today on anything, so.
Well, you know, I appreciate you going over there and actually doing your research and everything. That makes a huge difference. And, you know, next Thursday, if the chairman chooses, we can bring it up for a vote.
Anything else, sir?
No?
Okay.
Just for
I
my
will
understanding for the
be,
agenda,
I'm sorry.
excuse, I'm so sorry, but for the agenda for next meeting, because I just want to make sure I understood what you were saying, Chairman, that the law firm is volunteering, not for free, but they're offering to prepare this said resolution.
100%.
And so is that the avenue you're traveling, so that I know what to expect from you going into the next meeting, that I would prepare to
So
have
I'm
this
gonna reach
topic?
back to Julie
for
and double
resolution.
check that,
Okay,
because I can't make a decision without speaking to them, and it seems like we're now wanting to move forward. And so I want to double check with her, and I'll get back with you
okay. So I
on
just wanna
if
make
Julie's
sure.
going to be the person
And will
who.
you have to circle back to them to get approval for her to do the
No, I'm
resolution?
just gonna do it, and then at the next meeting,
Okay,
they'll decide.
we'll go across the table.
Yep,
And then, Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
I heard what you said in regards to the public use and stuff. At no time did I ever have a issue with it being of public use. My only issue was money spent and then coming back for a refund without the board knowing.
So noted. Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Okay, so then number 5, update from police chief on fiscal officer's cell phone investigation. So chief, I'm just gonna have you step up and give us a report, please.
Okay. So on January 9th, which was last Friday, I sent Ms. Justice an email, which I copied the board on, basically asking the status of her phone. Can you turn it in to get the new phone? If it's lost, we need to file a report to document that. So she did respond on Sunday, basically saying, and she only responded to me, but if you guys want it, I can forward it or whatever. I'll read it. She said, like I told Mike, I haven't seen that phone in over a year and a half. Could have very easily been in my old office when whomever packed it up, and she put in with the rest of my equipment I still do not have. I done know what more to say about it. Thanks. So I had Officer Kidwell generate basically an informational report for a lost cell phone, so that we can officially document it's gone, it's not here. And the cold check, it hasn't been actually used in about a year and a half, give or take. I know there is some discrepancy, which I've seen in a couple meetings where she's made references to the phone, of, well, it's in my bag, or it's here, or it's there. You can't do both, right? It's either here or not. However, at the end of the day, there's not a lot we can do to her. I believe the only thing you could do possibly is charge her financially for losing the phone like you could any other employee, unless there's extenuating circumstances, which I don't think there is.
Go ahead, sir.
You can see it already on my mind.
No, I'm happy to work this way. You told me to let you know, so
Yeah,
at
that's
any
good.
point in time, I'm happy to flow that way. If you have something,
Yeah.
go right ahead.
So my question is, can we recall the date that we packed up? Does anyone actually recall the date that, we'll call it pack-up day?
Yeah, I believe Nicole does have the date that Steve packed up her on.
So the next question is going to be, I think Nicole has the ability to go in and look at the last time the phone was actually used.
She doesn't.
Do you mind, ma'am?
I believe it was before that date.
Okay.
Um,
Wanted to find out if we could find, we know that, I'm going to call it the pack-up date, that the office was packed up and her items. Do we know, we didn't do like a box of tissues, plant, phone. We probably didn't take inventory, correct?
Correct, but she used her phone last August 22nd of 2024 at 2:30 PM, which that's the date that you guys banned her from the building. So she was not in this building after such time of being banned, but she used the device at 2:30 PM.
So it was outside of
So
here.
it was with her outside of this building.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because if you can print those things off for the chief to have so that he can present that, if we're gonna ask someone to pay for an item such as this township cell phone, and they want to indicate that, well, it was there, it must be there somewhere, it was out of my control. If we can show that it was in her control at the time, because as you said, I do recall that she was out that morning after 10:30 or 11 o'clock. So if the device itself was used, and it was in her possession after 2:30, then,
And it called us a 525 number, which is the county, so I believe we looked up the number and it goes back to the prosecutor's office.
okay,
So,
okay.
And then
Ma'am?
also, she at a time in 2025 had referenced to Steve via text message, that he told her to bring her phone in here and I would fix it for her, which really it was just a SIM issue, I told you guys that a long time
Yeah.
ago. And she said she wasn't gonna make it in, but she said, we still have AT&T, right? I can just go there and have them fix my phone. How you gonna, can't fix a device that you don't have, so.
So if, I'm so confused with different numbers that I text, and then I get, well, that's the problem, you're texting the wrong number. Well, only you know if you change your number, I don't know.
Yeah.
Would it show any correspondence other than that? Because, I mean, even in 2025, at the latter part of the year, I was texting her, but I wasn't hearing back.
I upgraded her device in June of 2025. So her physical device that we're attempting to get back has not had service to receive anything.
So it's been
since
off,
2025.
okay,
But that's why Steve has been trying to get her to bring that phone in since last year.
gotcha.
I'm sorry, since 2024.
So, as Chief, as you've mentioned, we've had multiple different things, and then this new response is the newest, first I've ever heard. It was in the office when you guys packed it up. That I've never heard of until push comes to shove, saying, hey, we need to do something. Is that correct?
As far as I know.
Okay,
Anything else, sir?
that's all I have, sir.
Ma'am?
No.
So I'd like to share with you a conversation that I had with Julie on this subject yesterday. She feels it's pretty hard to, what is the monetary value of a used phone? You understand what I'm trying to say? And things like that. And she was steering me down the avenue of the employee handbook, and that this potentially could become a finding for recovery against Miss Justice when they do the audit for this year, when they get to the calendar year of 2025, and that she would be held accountable by the auditors to pay for the phone.
Yeah.
So I asked our law firm, do we have to give the fiscal officer a phone? And she said, we absolutely do not have to give the fiscal officer a phone. So I would be of the mind is that we do not, we have a phone, but I don't think we need to give the phone to the fiscal officer when seem to be unable to take care of township equipment.
Since there's something that you stated, proof it went off, and I honestly believe just what you were alluding to is for us to set said value or to try to collect said value, we do know that the trade-in value costs the township a minimum of $100. I think that whole episode of that, any FFRs and stuff, the state should set that, the state should collect that, because it would come back to the township. But rather than us mingle in what it's going to cost us, you should pay X, Y, and Z. I don't know, is the state going to say that was a $1,000 phone? How do they justify, and I think that that's something if the state's going to take on, we let them finish that. On the second part of the said giving of a new cell phone, we always hear, I laugh when I say this, past practice in the township. If one phone was already lost, and obviously, and here's my point, we didn't know for a year that it was lost until push comes to shove when there's an investigation. Then, it must have been on my desk when you guys packed it up. So in past practice, would it be good sound judgment of this board to issue another cell phone and have zero control? And the very first thing that happened to this cell phone and the service. Now, some people at home might be sitting saying, well, it's just a cell phone. It goes much more than that, because how much is that cell phone service a month?
It's never been shut off, and so it's $40 a month that we've
So
been paying for a year and a half.
And this is what I'm getting ready to get at, my point, going around the berry bush, is if we said it was $100, you owe us $100, had they let us know when this phone first came up missing a year ago, if you take 12 times $42 or so, the value continues to grow. So if the auditors and what they do, and they're very well, they're going to look at the associated cost total to the taxpayers. So there's a difference between us trying to say you owe us for a phone versus the auditor doing an FFR for the cost that goes back to the township taxpayers. So that portion of it, I think we should allow them to do it. Giving a new phone, giving what we know, is going to look bad on us, because do we know better? Because where we are today with it. If we know the past practice of what happened with this phone, do we go ahead and then give them another phone again? So that's my opinion.
Ma'am?
Well, how's she gonna get a hold of us? I mean, I've never received an email, text, or anything from her, and
Well, the number that I have in my phone, and I apologize, you go ahead first. I didn't mean to-
I would rather, go ahead, John.
Okay, so to answer that question is, I was originally, and I don't even remember what the issue was. It was, I know exactly what it was. We needed to get a hold of her in order to, because it was a Friday, and I only had, as chairman, so much time allotted in talking with Julie to be able to, the deputy fiscal officer had to be removed. And I'm sending texts, I'm sending emails, and I'm saying, hey, I am calling this number, I've texted you at this number, I emailed you, and I think it was like Tuesday. Oh, I see the problem, you're texting the wrong number. Well, I don't know that. So what phone is she using that I have now in my phone for communications? That's what I don't understand.
We're all in, I'm gonna start over. You include all of us in your communications with Ms. Justice when you're trying to get her to come in and sign paperwork and things like that. So
Multiple.
that means that you have a number in which she's be able to receive in, retrieve
Yeah, and she
messages.
has her township email as her primary communication source. From my understanding, she has a personal cell phone that she can text with, And she also still here at the township, if the public should call, or even one of you would call through the township line and push the fiscal department, it will go to voicemail, but her voicemail, the actual message, drops into her email box. So you do have a means of reaching her through the township or through email. And I know the number I believe that she's sharing, willingly sharing, is a personal number. So, and during my time here, the fiscal officer did not always have a cell phone, even during my employment here.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Has she gotten back with you on any of these emails that we've all received?
It's interesting that she doesn't reply all, like with the chief, you know, she does reply back to him. And not timely, but she normally will get back with me, not always. It's usually after a couple of times, like where I have to send a follow-up or a reminder, then I'll get something back in return. But to answer your question, yes, but it's always, I don't know when, and I usually try to keep everything email, so that way it's documented and you have a time and then everyone's included in my correspondence.
So what,
You have something, sir?
yes, Mr. Chairman, I just pulled out my cell phone and I can look at my communications. My last communication is December 18th. So the time right now is approximately 10:45. Lindsay, I wanted to find out if this is still a good number to communicate with you. Could you let me know if you are getting this text? Period. Thank you. Hope your morning's going well. John. Okay, so now that is sent at 10:41, and we'll just find out if communications, it's 10:41, if I get something back so we can continue, and I'll let you know.
So to hopefully wrap this up, I don't think this is anything that we have to necessarily move on today. I just wanted to bring it up. A lot of this, most of this came up yesterday, and since we were meeting today, I wanted to get these things out there. If you see it a different way, if you feel there needs to be some kind of action, I'm willing to listen and move on it if need be, sir.
On
On the cell phone, do you feel there needs to be
Do we keep it
any
on?
further? Like, that's the whole thing. We have a cell phone in there that is on.
So-
And- Go ahead.
So, one of the good things is you were talking about the regime change, that you want to do business and get it moving. I 100% agree with you on something like this. This doesn't need to wait to another meeting. Communications, and we need to either know if we can get it or we can't. On this said situation with the cell phone, personally, me at this time, we've done an investigation, we made a report, we have that, so it's well documented. If this goes to NFFR or the state, they're going to see that we've had the communications. We have in other meetings communications, if we're able to document those said meetings that things were said that, it's in my handbook and stuff or it's in my handbag, if I recall hearing. If we have any of those meetings where those questions, if we document those things along with this report, and at that point, I would say let the state handle it from that point forward. My recommendation is, and I don't think that we have to make a move or a resolution to say we are or we are not giving a cell phone. It's a privilege to either accept or deny the cell phone. We have made multiple, and we need to document if we can, ladies, if they can go back and say, in the meetings, we said, bring your cell phone in, we've got a new phone for you. At no point did she ever have a desire to want to have that phone. So at this point, we made the offer over and over and over. At this point, my recommendation is we just keep the cell phone, because obviously the same thing could potentially happen again. And for me, it's not a good expenditure of the public's funding in order to lose that phone. Phones are around $1,000. However, it adds up every month when you keep a line open and ready to be used. So I don't know if any action at this time needs to be taken, because there was no action taken when we were replacing the cell phones. So the only action that may need to be taken today, and I apologize, is the new cell phone active and paying a monthly fee?
Yes, we've never shut the line down. So for the
Okay.
year and a half, it's been on at $40 a month.
So then what action would be need taken today? Because it wouldn't be right for the state. The state then would say, you knew she was not taking it and we kept an active line and the cell phone sits in a desk. So what we need to do is make a motion or a resolution to turn that line off so we're not charging the public a $43 approximately charge every month for a cell phone sitting in a box not being used unless it can be used for another department or someone in the township.
Before we do that, I think, Brenda will ask something.
Excuse me. So when did she actually notify the township that the phone was lost?
Sunday.
And this would be
Okay,
the first.
so when did she, okay, so that's when she notified us.
Well, she notified us because I asked her. She didn't notify us on our own.
It was an official investigation at that point.
Well, the thing is, like, if she knew that the phone was gone or broken or anything like that, it was her responsibility, and she should be held responsible for the $40 a month plus the cost of the phone and not given a replacement phone,
Right.
in my opinion, but.
Right, and that's where I am wanting to look at the auditors on the next audit to look at is, had she let us know that it was actually lost, stolen, or broken, we could have saved the taxpayers $43 more a month.
You realize that $720
Right.
is what she cost us. That's a lot of money.
But-
That would have covered your plaque.
Yeah. So at this point, now that the investigation has been brought to the board's attention and we are in a special meeting, it would behoove of us not to be able to move on something because it'll come back on us. If we wait a year to say, turn that line off, and it's another 720, then that comes back on the board because of mismanagement of funds. So we need to make some sort of resolution. When I say resolution, I'm talking either a motion or a resolution that says, what are we going to do with this phone from this point forward? Are we going to, is there it's an open line. What are we going to do with the open line? The phone can obviously stay in a box. If Jim Stevens breaks his, I don't know why I picked you,
That's okay.
or Byron or anyone, that phone then could be activated on that line. So we're really, the phone issue isn't the biggest part, it's the activation of that line that we're paying that is just sitting there.
Can I ask how much the activation fee is for the township?
There's no
Okay.
charge, because we use FirstNet, which is a first responder service through AT&T.
Okay,
So there was no cost, but we do have the flat, around $40 a month
Okay.
for each phone.
You want to craft that, sir?
Sure. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board met today in person in a special meeting on January 14, 2026. Didn't say it wrong this time. At approximately 10:52. Where if the board's desire to turn off said line to the extra phone that was to be for the fiscal department now not being in use, to save the taxpayers approximately $43 a month. If there's no further question in said resolution, I would ask for a second.
I'll second.
Here in the second, I would ask for a roll call when ready.
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Blevins?
Yes.
Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
And note that the resolution for turning off said line has passed.
Is it, sir, I just want to make a correction. That you did a motion and then you just said resolution.
Did I-
Or are they one and the
Well-
same?
Well, he made the motion to turn off the cell phone assigned to the fiscal officer it was based on a resolution, he was making the
Okay.
motion for the
I'm not
second.
trying
It's
to
okay.
correct you, I'm
No,
just
no.
trying to keep this stuff
Please
straight.
do, that's
So
why I
just wanna make
paused.
sure that the resolution number is 2026-014.
Say that again?
2026-014 for the board approving the turning off of the cell phone service that's been assigned to fiscal officer at an approximate savings of $40 a month.
Anytime you think like that, please let me know. Just like, for instance, in the when I crafted resolution on the fly, I accidentally said 06 before. I have no idea why. I guess from a distance, the 2 looked like an O. And I'll read what's in front of me.
You can sit down, sir, I'm sorry to have you up there all that time. So we're gonna move on, so I'd like to make a motion to move into an executive session per Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 to consider the compensation and benefits of a public employee, and the time is 10:49.
I would
Can I
second.
get a,
Oh, I
go ahead,
apologize.
sir?
I will second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Blevins,
Yes,
trustee Fuller.
Yes.
we are now in executive session. Motion to come out of an executive session at 12:27.
Sir, and just for clarification, today is January 4th, 2026, and I would second that. And there's no decisions made?
It's
Yes,
January
I think that-
14th, please.
I'm sorry?
January 14th, you said 4.
Oh, my apologies.
No, you're fine.
I'm gonna have to check these reading glasses. I am
I
messing.
just don't
this-
want to confuse anyone that might be listening.
I'm gonna have to keep my mouth shut. I'm messing these up when I look at this. But I second that, sir.
Roll call?
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Blevins,
Yes.
trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Any discussion? I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Brenda?
Nothing.
Okay. I need to read this. Motion to approve audio, video, and the meeting summary as the official record and minutes of today's meeting.
I would second that.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Blevins,
Yes.
trustee Fuller.
Yes.
And the last thing is a reminder of our next meeting will be Thursday, January the 22nd at 12 a.m. and we
12 p.m.
12 p.m.
It's been a
Here we
long
go.
meeting.
I get to
It's been a long meeting.
It's catchy, trust me.
And we are adjourned
At what time?
Thank you.
at 12:29.
Okay, I gotta go turn her thing off. 'cause
I
she's-
gotta find out how to turn off that